Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Joining me today, we've got Max and we've got Terry. Max, it's been a while. Welcome back, man.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Yeah. I'm a fan of your flowers.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. This is a very awkward house to accommodate for recording, so I've had to make do with what I've got. Sorry. Have editors, have fun with the green screen, do what you like. I'll be eager to see what you can come up with.
So I would explain to people listening via podcast what we're talking about, but I think Max just told you. Flowers and there's green behind him. Yeah. Yeah. I am clearly not in my normal recording space. I am actually at North Myrtle Beach on the coast with my entire family, who is all somewhere in this space somewhere. So, people who are watching, you may randomly see a child walking past, looking lost and confused. That may happen. Or you could hear people playing in the back. Yeah, I'm just saying. Just pretend like it's the way it normally is. I wish it was like, when Tom was in Wales and you could hear the seagulls, but here if I opened you'd hear nothing but wind. You know what I mean? It would just sound like a bad recording. Let's get started with our Palace thoughts. For a 0-0 draw, it actually was. There were some chances. It wasn't the total, snooze fest that many were expecting when they saw it. I saw it after the fact because my oldest had a Latino League championship game in which the trophy was as big as my child. Okay, Latino leagues do not play around with their trophies. I'll post a picture at some point. It's insane. But I got to watch it. And there's a lot of chances. Actually, decently entertaining game. Very, very wind. Okay. Very wind. But honestly, when I was watching it, I think the big thing was the injury to Andre that changed some things. I'm going to start with Max this time because, well, Terry's been here for a while, and Max just hasn't been here for a while, and I'm trying to be polite. So, Max, give us some opening thoughts. Don't blab all your thoughts just yet, but give me some good stuff to start us off.
I'll try my hardest. But I saw a little clickbait match report about how Palace were held by 10 men Everton, and I don't think that was the case. From a statistical point of view, it was dominant from us. There were just many examples of not putting clear goal scoring opportunities away. Like from the off, Sigurdsson in the second minute, that should be in the back of the net. There are a few other chances as well. Coleman, I think that was later on around the 30th minute mark again. But you have from the perspective of looking at the entirety of the performance. Although that was the big turning point. Andre Gomez getting injured, unfortunately, they're going down to the 10 men. Both Palace and Everton finished the last season just gone relatively strongly. I think they got 5 wins in the last 8 between them. So, omitting pre-season, because I don't think Everton were all that great in pre-season. You were expecting quite a good game. Coming up against Everton, I think Palace, succumb and accept the fact that they are going to be the defensive side, that they are going to have to present the low block, and that's always a feature of Crystal Palace when we come up against them, I feel. I don't know if you guys saw David's thread on the similarities between this game and the last time we played Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park in April, but it was spooky. It was really spooky how similar the two games were. I almost thought it was similar of Everton in that how we played, in that again similar to last season, we're trying to bed these new signings in, and we're not all there yet, but we look out from the 17-18 season where it was just like a nightmare, and watching the football was like a chore. We've got a clear attacking identity now. It's really nice to see, particularly down that left hand side, the high pressing fullbacks, and hopefully there's more to come.
All right, it's a good start, Max. Well done. Welcome back.
Wow.
So, so Terry, what do you want to start with?
I mean, I can definitely believe the threads from David about like the similarities from the last away match at Crystal Palace. Because when I was watching it, I felt like someone had just put the video on of the last season's match because it was almost exactly the same. And it's the same problem we had with a lot of away games at these, smaller clubs, these like lesser teams, is that we had absolutely loads of the ball. Ran the game possession wise, passes completed, all that through the roof, but not very many, clear cut chances, and that's where we struggled last season towards the end as well. That when the teams that want to play and open up and attack you, like Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, the better teams, we did better because we got to a counter attack a little bit more. We got more space for our forwards to run into. When we're facing like a low block who are happy to try and break on us, we're a little bit blunt because Calvert-Lewin is not a natural goal scorer. He's a good tool to use against certain teams, but he's not a box predator. He's not going to finish, all of his chances. So if Sigurdsson is in the sort of mood that he was in on Saturday, where he is going to miss really gilt-edged chances like that, then we're going to struggle to score. Bernard, similarly, had a pretty poor game on the finishing front. He wasn't. There was one where he cuts in and he just needs to unleash it and send it off his laces, and he tries a little reverse pass to Dean, who has stopped running because he thinks that Bernard's going to take a shot at goal, and he because to all the world he should have. That is hopefully something that we iron out a little bit. This sort of lack of sort of ability to break these teams down. Now, the new players we've brought in, none of them really stand out as, these are going to break down defensive teams. Like Moise Keane is a good striker, but he's not going to be someone who's going to take the ball and break through two lines of defence. Iwobi might be a different option because whilst he's not got the talent of Sigurdsson in some respects, he does create a lot of chances. He moves past the striker a lot more than Sigurdsson does. So that could be the thinking that the club have had with signing Iwobi, that he's going to be better in those games than some of the players we've got now. But it's just a scruffy game, same as the one last season. Lots of possession, lots of good passing. At least while Gomez was on the pitch. Not very much in the way of entertainment and clear-cut chances. Palace did their job on us. They will have seen this game, especially when they didn't have Zaha from the start, and said, right, we're going to have to just be, disciplined and try and, get some change out of Everton at the back. And they never got it because, Mina and Keane were excellent, but they wouldn't have came into this game with any intention of opening up and having a, going toe-to-toe with us, and they didn't. And, fair play to them. In their position, anyone would have done it.
Yeah, the Andre Gomes. I just feel like I still need to say Andre Gomez. Sorry, but Andre Gomez injury was big. And it was, because I felt like he was doing a good job. He was actually, pushing us forward a little bit more. I feel like it seems pretty clear. All of our creativity almost always comes from the flanks. Comes from the sides. We need to start figuring out a way to be able to attack through the center some, to be able to attack through the middle some, just to give us some variety, just to kind of make us a little less predictable. And I think that what you just said, Terry, talking about thoughts on Iwobi, I think that is going to give us a little more creativity coming from the middle. I think also that was one of the things when we were thinking about signing Decore, the idea that he carries the ball like that and pushes the ball forward like that. I think that was one of our thoughts on that one. So yeah, man of the match for me, I will say, our entire back line and our keeper played well.
Yerry Mina for me.
Played well. Yerry Mina's my guy though.
And Jordan Pickford too. I think what I've got to mention as well is the importance of Jordan Pickford was kind of reinforced in this game. Like he was forced to make some brilliant 1v1 saves and just reinforced the fact that he is the best goalkeeper in the country.
and he had not had to make any saves until then. That's, to me, like, that's a concentration thing, and that's that part of the keeper position that people don't understand. The idea of just not having to do anything for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden you got to make that, and you got to be mentally, just on the edge. And he was awesome. Mm-hmm. Both those saves that were back to back, very close. It was nice. Gerry Mina's still my guy. I thought Big Gerald did a fine job. And kind of chilled people out a little bit in terms of getting worried that we don't have two starters. He was really good at one-on-one defending as well. Whenever he went toe-to-toe and people were coming at him to try to beat him, and he shut him down. It was impressive. We knew he was going to be good in the air. I loved seeing him body up Benteke.
Bounce Benteke, yeah, that was quite satisfying.
Yeah, I love that. But he wasn't the only one on the back line to play well. But he's to be fair, Terry's been singing Gerry Mina's praises for a long time now, waiting for him to come good. So Terry, speak your piece. Is he your guy for man of the match?
Yeah, I mean, as Max said, Jordan Pickford, had two massive moments as well, so you've got to consider him. But I don't think there should have been any doubts at all about Gerry Mina's quality going into the season. His fitness, absolutely, because, he did a lot last season. So there's always that worry that, he could break down, he's susceptible to getting, muscle injuries and stuff. Hopefully, not. Touch wood, because we're now in a position where we need to have them both fit and healthy for at least till January. But I've always thought he was a good defender. I mean, he's a little bit rash, like he needs to work a little bit on the decision making, because he's always, I think, a red card risk, especially in the more feisty games where there's some running battles going on. I do worry on that side of it. Pure ability wise, I think he's a great centre back, and you guys need to trust me. You furrowed your brows when I said about Michael Keane after the 17-18 season. You thought I was crazy, and now here we are. And just listen to me again. Mina and Keane are a good pair together. I would have liked Zuma as well, but Zuma, remember, was brought in to be cover for that partnership. And Zuma obviously established himself when Mina kept getting injured, but Mina was brought in to be Michael Keane's partner, and we're seeing it now just a year late.
Yeah.
A big, stinky "I told you so" from Terry. Mm-hmm. All right, there we go. That's I do have, like you said, fitness, durability concerns. He just kind of looks the way he's built. You're constantly worried when he goes into a tackle, because there's something about the way he's built. He's tall and thin, just going to be concerned about that for a while. Hope that's not an issue, though. I honestly, people who didn't have their best game, I thought Sigurdsson, was pretty wasteful in possession, missed a few chances. I think two in particular that I'm thinking of in the first half. He did the work. He always does the work. His pressing work's always good. You never have a day where you're like, Sigurdsson didn't work hard. No, he seemed a little sloppy for a player who's usually, I think, a little more tidy. So yeah, and let's just agree that Schneiderlin overreacted, despite the fact that may not have been a foul. The overreaction, probably didn't need to do that.
100%.
And just don't even test John Moss, because John Moss gets excited about the fact that he gets to make a call he didn't have to guess at.
Yeah, true. And I know you mentioned before Schneiderlin in that part, but for me, I don't think I want to see that partnership of Jim Amin and Schneiderlin again, because when I was doing the 5 things we learned from the game article a while back, I'm just thinking it was like the equivalent of those dreams where, when you're trying to throw punches to attack, but everything's just too slow and you're not causing any real damage. And that kind of attribute to the pointer that we're just not creating anything from the centre of midfield. So it's just too defensive minded. And although I've got a hell of a lot of respect for the players in those positions, Gundogan, Xabi Alonso, those type of players, you've got to pick the right partner for them.
Yeah, and let's get into that. That was my next point. We had debuts for Bama, Gbamin, Let's just say it every way we possibly can, because he said like several different ways is fine. We had a debut for him, and I have to give him some respect for the fact that he flat out said, "No, I'm not ready." He's like, "I've only had 3 training sessions. I'm not ready," and he came in because we needed him. So we had a debut for him, and we had a debut for Moise Keane, who for some reason I keep hearing Moise Keane from commentators, and I'm just like, dude, we did a video. Like, if you look at the Everton site, they did a video where he says, "This is how to say my name."
Yeah.
All right. How hard is it? Anyway, it's like this much research, you know. Anyway, so how do we feel like those debuts went, Terry?
Well, Gbamin's was a bit of a horror show, and it's not his fault, and I feel really bad for him because obviously the more, reactionary, cry arsey corners of our fan base, made a bit of, a few snap judgments on him. And I think a lot of that was frustration at the lack of, not getting the win, and it was taken out a little bit on him. He was very poor, but you could play, I'm sure with 1 week of training, if that, like half a week's worth of training after a holiday in a new club, in a new league, throw Kevin De Bruyne in that position, in that situation, and he's not going to excel. Like, it was harsh on Gbamin to even put him on. I mean, I think Silva should have put Davies on just for the experience, but I can see why, because he knows when Andre Gomez is leaving the pitch that he's probably thinking, I need to use Gbamin sooner than I expected, so I might as well get him on the pitch now and see how he does, and get him some minutes under his belt. It's not really worked. I don't think he was as bad as people said. He did get caught by the pace a little bit, but what else was he meant to do? It's hard for players with a full pre-season who are new to the Premier League to come in and adapt to the pace. It's really fast compared to other leagues, so he kept getting caught out on the ball because he thought he had more time to pick his pass. It was a steep learning curve. You'd think he'll be like that against Watford if he starts. I don't. I think he'll know, need to release this ball a lot quicker when I'm on the pitch in this league. Moise Keane, nothing you can really say about his debut. Came on, a few nice touches. That was it, really. He wasn't on the pitch very long to make it, a big impact. Again, I'm not expecting big things from him straight away. He is a teenager. He's new to the country league. He's got less experience, less games than Gbamin. I'm with Silva on this one. Don't rush this player in, because this is what a lot of clubs who sign, these star name youngsters do. They throw them straight in and go on, show us why everyone thinks you're great, and then, they struggle a little bit, and then everyone turns on them and destroys their confidence, going, "Oh, he's a myth. He's not as good as people said he was." And honestly, I would be happy for him to come on slowly and in substitute appearances for a few more weeks before we start seeing him start, because we bought our new star striker. There's no rush. There's no. It's not like in the past where we had to play them. Like, we've got other players who can play in those positions. We can still win games without Moise Keane. I want him brought into the team right.
Max, anything on that?
No, both those aforementioned signings, both really young. Gbamin's only 23, Moise Keane's only 19, and obviously in particular on Gbamin, I think he'll come good. I've got a likeness to players that come over from the Bundesliga. I think they've experienced football in a really good environment to experience football in. And you think back to some of the transfers, like Ballack coming to England, Company coming to England, Mertesacker, like loads of the players that come over from the Bundesliga eventually settle. So as Terry mentioned, those that are blowing the top straight away, just calm down.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Gbamin. I go through every pronunciation when I'm about to say his name. I'm just gonna have to settle on something. I don't think it was as bad as some made out. I thought it got worse as the game went on, as because his passing early on, it was usually on point. It was he was putting it to players' feet, which is cool. But as it went on, he was having to make quicker decisions. He had less time to make decisions, and he started passing the ball and giving it away. That was frustrating. I saw one time where I think Meyer got the ball on the left side, and Gbamin had a choice of going toward the. Meyer was on the flank, but he didn't have the ball. The ball had gone to the center, and we had both of our center backs in the center of the pitch, and Gbamin chose to go with the ball instead of going with, I think Benteke is who had the ball, and so he ended up. Gbamin went to the ball. Benteke passed it to Meyer, and Gbamin would have done better to actually cover that side rather than pile on and ball watch. You know what I mean? And that's what gave them their best opportunity. And it's just a matter of him being able to communicate better, him knowing his role better, knowing his responsibilities better. These are things that are going to come. He's going to get used to the speed of the game and all that. He's a big dude. He's athletic. I do think his passing is good enough for that position. I think that'll be fine, and I think we're going to see him getting around the pitch a lot more and intercepting more, tackling more. He just seems like he likes that part of the game.
Yeah,
I think he said that he likes that part of the game. Actually.
Yeah, of course, and I think he's filling the shoes of someone that rivaled only in goal or Kante for like tackling and interception stats. Yeah. So, be patient.
Yeah,
I don't think that comparison helps him either. He's not
no, 100%.
He's a Morgan Schneiderlin, he's a Gareth Barry, he's an Nemanja Matic, he's not a Kante, he's not a McCarthy, he's not an Idrissa Gueye. He isn't going to charge all over the midfield, just tackling everyone. He's going to sit, he's going to be a traditional like number 6, he's going to slot between the two centre-backs. I think if he was sort of compared to Schneiderlin, people would have a different expectation of him and a different, better idea of what he's going to be. When we've not like for like replaced Idrissa Gueye, because what's the point? You can't. If there was a player who was as good as Idrissa Gueye out there, PSG would have signed him instead. So we've gone for a more structured number 6, which Silva likes, which he had at Watford, and we're going to build a different formula in midfield over that. So I think people need to understand that he's not going to be Idrissa Gueye 2.0. He's going to replace Schneiderlin, and he's competing with Schneiderlin for that spot in the squad.
Yeah, and also a word about Idrissa Gueye. He'd had a year worth of Premier League experience. He had already done all. He had 1 year's worth of understanding the speed of the game and the physicality of the game before he even came to us. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's not a fair comparison. Regardless. One last bit, because I saw a lot of people commenting on DCL. What are our thoughts on DCL? Because I'm curious, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, although I have all this other stuff. We just got to move on. Max, any thoughts on DCL? How do you feel like he did?
As you say, he is obviously, a point of contention. Obviously, that shift to that number 9 shirt, it does just have some sort of symbolic resonance. You go back to, Dixie Dean, the first ever number 9, Graham Sharp. So that weight can't be ignored. It is pressure. He's obviously embraced that. He wanted the number 9 shirt. So, I go back to that Merseyside derby, that 0-0, and he came up against Virgil van Dijk. Van Dijk had the better of him in every single aspect, but he didn't give up, and he worked his ass off until he was taken off. He was absolutely shattered. From then on, we saw a different version of him, and we still saw that battle and willing to run centre forward. He was holding the ball up really well against the Crystal Palace back line. Obviously, as Terry mentioned, we've got to take our time with the likes of Keane, although we want to see him burst on the scene and become some sort of superstar. It's DCL's place for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Terry, thoughts on DCL?
If Moise Keane settles like we want him to, and he becomes this quality player, I think we'll start to appreciate DCL in a different way. Right now, because he's our only, until Keane's come in, he's our only proper striker. All due respect to Cenk Tosun, people want him to be all things to all people. He isn't that. I think we'll come to realise if Keane, takes off, that DCL's got his pluses, and he'll be. It's that game against Palace was the wrong game, wrong opponent for the wrong player. If we played Chelsea or Arsenal away on the first day, DCL would have been perfect, because he's better when he's playing that sort of counter-attacking, role where he's going to have to work the centre-backs like he did against Liverpool at Goodison. When he's sitting against a low block, he's not skillful enough to make his own chances in the box, and that's just something that is a fact about him. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very useful player. But we want him to do everything. We want him to, if he could do everything, if he could finish, he could work like that, he'd be Harry Kane. There's just no... People need to understand just because he's been around a long time doesn't mean he's not a young player with some development to do. He's got better every year that he's been here. I couldn't stand him at one point. I didn't see what people saw in him. I was like, when Ronald Koeman was playing him on the left, I was like, what does Koeman see in this Calvert-Lewin? And then every year he's just improved and improved, and in rocky circumstances as well. He was the only striker under Koeman when we sold Lukaku, and he wasn't ready for that. He made the best of it. He was flogged by Sam Allardyce, and only since Silva's come in has his development really calmed down and gone to a proper track. But if Keane settles and does well, I think the two of them together will be two very different and very useful options depending on the opposition. And even occasionally, you might see DCL come off the bench and play up front with them and complement each other. But right now, people want DCL, especially with the number 9 on his back. I mean, I don't agree with it, but the number 9 comes with not just an expectation of goals, but an expectation of style. I think people want the number 9 to be Duncan Ferguson. I think they want him to bully everyone, and he could certainly work on his aggression. He could certainly be a little bit more competitive in the box, but he isn't Duncan Ferguson. He's not going to bully opposition strikers. He's not that type of player.
His hold-up play is so good. It was so good on Saturday. I mean, it was really strong. He was holding off stronger defenders. He's a bigger kid than I think I realized. You know what I mean? When you actually see him out there, he's quick. He's skilled. I saw him make some very clever little layoffs. I thought he made some combinations. His press defense is so good. I'm vexed by DCL because he literally does everything except score goals. And if we're winning games without him scoring a bunch of goals, but just because of all the things he's doing, I'm gonna end up being okay if we're winning. It's weird though because he's a 9. I feel like the goals are gonna come. I think they're gonna come. But Terry, you mentioned something I thought was really really apt in terms of the fact that he can't make his own chances very often. And he's going to have to work on being able to, because when we get into those games that we play, like we play against Palace, where they are just packing back and we're just hitting the flanks and crossing the ball in, he's got to figure out a way to be able to bully off those defenders and actually win those headers and put them down. Because he's doing that thing where he kind of gets under it and it sails over. He's not quite getting the position he needs to be able to win those. And I don't know if Keane's going to be able to do it either. We'll see. He's a strong kid too. I don't really know though. But that's kind of the explanation for our lack of goals against some of these teams that play on those, play so far back. I don't know. I can't say he's been clinical. I can't. Lately, I think for a little while there, I thought he was a clinical finisher, but I feel like he's got a little hump. He's been focused on so many other things, but I think the goals are going to come for him. I really do. I'm not worried. I think it'll be okay. I'm curious as to what Iwobi does in terms of bringing a little bit more options. You know what I mean? Like, put another option in there with whom DCL can combine. You know what I mean? Some combination play coming through the middle. We'll see. I don't know. All right, that's it. This has been way longer than expected. I guess it's just we haven't seen each other in a while. It happens. So let's. Any parting thoughts on that?
Good to be back.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe I'll actually get to see this weekend's match in real time instead of watching 20 minutes at a time on NBC Gold. So that's it for Palace Thoughts. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. If you want more Terry, check him out on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. I'm assuming this is coming soon, so check him out there. And if you want more Max, he does a lot of work for the Toffee Blues website. Anything else they need to be on the lookout for, Max?
I'm jumping on a Liverpool Echo podcast some point in the near future, but you know what I'm like. I see the opportunities, I take them. That's how I roll.
Max is omnipresent, pretty much. It's just he's everywhere, right? He's in the ether. So keep an eye out for on both these guys' Twitter. You can see where they're going to show up. All right, and that's it. We're going to move on to a squad assessment. Yeah. So bye.